Alright, finally. Jesus. What's up, guys? Yeah, I've already downloaded it. We're going to go over patch notes. Just see. I briefly glanced through them. I didn't see anything that really kind of jumped out. I think I'm going to stick with my original estimate. I'll probably be able to go about 3 weeks and be done with it. Just based off what I've seen. But we're going to go over patch notes. In case you guys, they dropped, I want to say about an hour ago. They're pretty extensive, but I don't think they're really saying a whole lot that we didn't already know. Yeah, Zeki, I saw it, dude. Alright, so for those that don't know, yeah, the patch notes are out. 1.1. So we got the 6 uniques. It's still sticking with that. They kind of pulling in D2 stuff. We're just gonna go through it real quick. Again, I didn't see anything that really jumped out at to me. It was like, okay, that's cool. And no, I didn't get any of that. Don't care about that one. So the barbarian's getting Azure Wrath. I'm assuming this is one-hander. It just says unique sword. I would think if it was going to make it a two-hander, it'd say two-handed sword. This actually is going to be a PvP thing. I think it's going to potentially be an issue. It is a 20% chance to freeze, but it's for 3 seconds. In terms of PvP, that's a long time. So I don't know yet if 20% just might not be that much. It might not proc as often as you might think it would, but I can see this being a staple for a barbarian PvP build. The freeze duration thing, don't really care about. I don't think that's that. I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference in just regular monster grinding. Yeah, Zeki, you're gonna be like 3 seconds is so long. I know there's some stuff that mitigates that, but man, I could get almost 3 Hammer of the Ancients in a 3-second span. Might not have the rage for it, but you could potentially hit this 3 times. You're dead. You're just dead. Flesh Render, isn't that the name of the? No, that was Flesh Ripper that I got yesterday. Anyways, that's yeah, I don't know enough about druids. It doesn't seem that big of a deal. Necromancer's getting lidless, my OG favorite shield. That's kind of a cool effect, though. While you have an active Bone Storm, hitting an enemy outside of a Bone Storm has up to a 5 to 25% chance to spawn another Bone Storm. That's kind of a cool effect. I don't know if it's going to really crank out that much more damage. Zeki, I think you might be right. Yeah, it could be that club. So, I mean, I think the effect of this is kind of cool. I don't know if the damage is going to be. Bone Storm doesn't do that much damage, but normally you pop Bone Storm because I think it's an increased crit chance while Bone Storm is active. So these additional Bone Storms are kind of whatever. But it's kind of cool to look at, I guess. Another D2 item. D2 item, D2 item, D2 item. Rogue gets Eagle Horn, D2 item. Something about Pierce and bouncing, whatever. Penetrate, Pierce, penetrating shot. Sorceress gets Oculus, and they even brought back the random teleport. That's so annoying. So, gain the effective teleport for free. When you evade using teleport enchantment, you're then pop to a random location. So they put the random teleport thing. So what everybody hated Oculus for, kind of the same type of thing. Now, if it actually had magic find, then maybe that would be better. The aspects are they're kind of whatever, because the barbarian one is a charge aspect. I don't know if it's worth using an aspect or a skill slot for charge just to get some ancients. That's kind of whatever. Druid gets subterranean poison creepers active. Also cast landslide. See, I don't know if they're using creeper though. So necromancer gore quills. Blood lance, which I think there's some legitimate builds out there for blood skills like the blood lance, but I think bone spear still kind of is the meta. It's going to be the meta. Hey Janitha, what's going on? Rogue. I don't know anything about rogues, so I'm not going to look at that. Sorcerer, searing wards, looks like fire stuff. After spending to your next firewall. So firewall's actually, I think, a legitimate build as well. So there's going to be some people that maybe after you get a free. That's kind of a, you could throw it up to block missiles. That's interesting. Yeah, I heard, Janitha. I heard you got a new puppy now. All right, I'm not going to go through the bug fixes. Y'all can look at that. I didn't really run into a lot of bugs. I mean, there was some more server type lag issues than bugs that I ran into. And there might be some that I've noticed or I've seen that just didn't notice that much. So, but there's a ton of bug fixes, which is good. You always got to fix the bugs. Ton of bug fixes. Bunch of bug fixes. Still looking at bug fixes. Alright, loading screen updates. We've added more dynamic loading screens with the release of the season. This includes adding more assets to load, such as player. Okay, yeah. Just cinematic, or not cinematic, but just visual thing. Yeah, Janitha, we played D2 yesterday. Alright, gameplay updates. Generals, Altar of Lilith unlocks are now account-wide, which I thought that was a thing already, but apparently not. Map discovery now account-wide, which I noticed that as well. Whispers no longer sigil dust, don't care. Loot from the silent chest, better. Channel time to leave dungeon ability has been increased. This is a weird one. Why do you want it to take longer to get out of the dungeon? That's an odd one. This was a gripe I seen, and mainly by barbarian players, having to chase stuff down. Like you get the vampires that fly away. There's several mobs that like move away from you. They're reducing that. PS5, whatever. Some bonus changes to the tiers. Like they bumped World 2 tier a little bit. Well, World Tier 2 has that. And then they made some scaling changes within 3 and 4. So, whatever. And they did bump XP bonuses. There's more XP bonuses. So leveling will be a little faster. Helltide. Slightly harder. They increased one level for the monsters. This one sucked. The mystery chests are going to cost $250 now instead of $175. So an additional 75 cinders before you can open that chest. But they've added a few more, like the objects. You know, there was like a certain plant that you could hit that would drop cinders. Looks like they're making like all the objects and stuff potentially increase the chance of dropping cinders. So that's whatever. Balance changes. I'm only going to look at a couple of them because to me, some of them I just won't know enough about the classes to tell whether they're good or not. Oh yeah, no, it still is because the non-mystery chests suck. Hey Gerard, what's going on, buddy? I don't even bother, like, unless, like, when I finish my last mystery chest, if I have like 75, I'll go hit another chest. But if I have like 50, I just leave. I don't even bother hitting other chests. Balance changes. Alright, they start with the Barbarian, best class. Alright, double swing. Don't care, that's still not going to make it better. Furious upheaval damage, stack increase 3 to 5, that's not good enough. Powered charge reduction, okay, that's a little nerf. Tactical ground stop, you get a little more fury, not good enough, nobody's going to use it. Enhanced death blow damage bonus to bosses increase 100 to 150. That's potentially an addition to a build for... I'd only see somebody taking this. Well, no, I still don't see anybody taking this because I think death blow still burns fury. It resets. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing anybody still take this. This is not going to be enough. There's some... I've seen a couple of builds where they work in death blow, but this is specific to a single target. And the way death blow works is if you get a kill with death blow, it resets a timer and you can immediately hit something else again, and so on and so forth. But for single target, which is saying bosses, it just increases the damage of the hit. You're only going to get one hit. Yeah, I don't see that being used. Steelgrass vulnerable, nobody's going to use that. Rupture damage increase 30 to 45. That might be okay. When I was using that sword with the rupture build, it was just kind of like Hammer of the Ancients and Whirlwind are probably still going to be the metas. I don't see this changing. Get a little attack speed bonus. Yeah, I don't see this changing. So basically, barbarians are going to stay the same. I don't see any changes to the barbarian meta. They made a bump to the glyph, or changed to a glyph. Like instead of this one, I do use this wrath glyph. So instead of it just, if I'm, in my case, affecting Hammer of the Ancients, it'll also affect Lunging Strike. So, yeah, whatever. That's pretty minor. Aspects. Duration, Battle Mad, Berserking, Brawler. Damage, slight damage increase. Burning Rage. Yeah, these are pretty minor tweaks. I'm not seeing a whole lot changing. This is that pool. The Crimson Bleeding is the pool that drops when you use the Rupture Sword. So a little bit more damage, but the damage was negligible to begin with, so that's kind of be whatever. So basically, Barbarian meta stays the same. What's this, Druid? Druid, I don't know that much about. These were all buffs, looks like. This is a little bit of a nerf, I think. Storm Strike damage reduction reduced from 25 to 15. So your DR was taken from 25. So this is a little bit of a nerf. I think everything else was kind of a buff. Yeah, not going to go through the Druid. Necromancer's kind of the only other one that I know a little bit about. Decompose, don't use. Paranormal Sever. That's a little bit of a nerf anyways. Required for vulnerable, reduced for... Oh wait, no, that's a buff. It takes 3 casts instead of 4. Blood Surge. Blood Lance. Bone Prison. Like these, I haven't played this build. I've heard that the Blood Lance got a little bit of a nerf, like a hotfix. But I think from what I've heard, Blood Lance is still decent. I think that build's still pretty good. Hey, Jeb. Jeb is, there's nothing here, dude. There's some minor stuff, but nothing that's really, I mean, outside of Azeki being excited for the Oculus teleporting him randomly. that's been the highlight. Okay, that affects me a little bit because it was kind of a small range for targeting the corpses to pop the tendrils. That's kind of a little quality of life change, if nothing else. Golems move quicker, or whatever. Ray Skeleton Priest, okay. Amp damage increase a little bit. Yeah, it was because that area of effect where it's like 50% bigger, so that you can pop tendrils, or if you're using CE, it's nice. I mean, that's more quality of life though. Book of the Dead, minions auto summon. They made Thorns a little stronger on the defenders. I don't know if this is enough to make the summoner build that much better. Iron Golem. Iron Golem's going to be a little stronger. Except there was a thing where they moved faster. Golems move quicker. Yeah. Yeah, kind of whatever. Essence Glyph now affects all damage instead of just core. Same change as the Barbarian. Your download speed got nerfed. I hear you. Aspects. Bone shard damage bonus reduced, so that's a nerf. Big nerf. 50 to 100 to 30 to 60. That's pretty big. That's a pretty big nerf. I want to say that's a big part of the Bone Spear build. So Bone Spear did get hit a little bit. That's because that's a pretty significant damage nerf. 40%. 40% damage nerf. Barbarian it is. I didn't see anything that really got nerfed with the barb. This is going to hurt Bone Spear a little bit. A lot more blood change, blood, shadow damage. I don't remember if I used this aspect or not. But they reduced the crit chance, crit damage as well here. So this is another nerf. That's a bump. Jeb, I don't know, dude. I don't see the need. You bring other skills up to par. Bone Spear's a strong build, but I don't think it's like overblown by any means. But those are two nerfs, and I think both of those affect Bone Spear builds. This Deathless Visage, that's a helmet. That's a really minor damage buff. Aspect of Rian. It looks like maybe like the Blood Spear build might be inching up. I don't know if it's going to be better than Bone Spear, but they've made a point of really increasing a lot of things, or buffing a lot of the blood skills. So it looks like the Blood Lance might overtake and become a better become the meta build versus Bone Spear. Because there's a couple nerfs in there to Bone Spear, no buffs at all, and there's several buffs to like Blood Lance and a couple other blood skills. So that's definitely might shift the Necromancer meta. Alright, I don't know anything about rogues, so we're not going to really touch that. Sorcerer, I know a little bit. Charge bolts. Most people seem to run Ice Blades, right? That's kind of the meta build, is the Ice Blades build. Wait, no. It wasn't Ice Blades. No, Ice Blades is kind of wonky. I guess that's what this fix is. What's the Ice Bolt? Is that the attack that everybody uses? I think it's Ice Bolt. Ice Blades is kind of wonky. I don't think anybody uses this. Ice Shards. Yeah, that's it. Ice Shards is the one that pretty much everybody spams. Yeah, Jeb. It's like somebody said it was like 9 gigs. I didn't even pay attention. Firebolt buffed a little bit. Look like a fire buff here. Lightning buff here. Lightning buff there. Firewall, and there was a change to Firewall in an aspect as well. Increased mana regen, so buffed Firewall. Blizzard core skill mana cost reduction increased. Wait, that's Wizard's Blizzard core skill mana cost reduction. Okay, so this is a buff, because the cost reduction, instead of reducing the cost by 10, it's reducing it by 20. So this is a buff. Deep freeze cooldown reduction increased from 50 to 100%. I don't remember the effect. I think that's a buff. Passives. Protection barrier. I'm not seeing any nerfs to any of the Sorc builds. I did do a search for intelligence to see if they made a change to any of the resistance effects for intelligence, and I didn't see anything. So it looks like they didn't address how resists work. Aspect changes, don't know enough. Alright, general changes. Oh wait, or does this fall under Sorc? No. This is just okay, general. Alright, aspect disobedience. I don't remember that one. Explorer, Starlight. I think these are utility aspects. Butcher's Cleaver slow increased. The base is slow. Okay, whatever. It still sucks as a weapon. Drop rate adjustments. Increased bonus to drop ancestral and sacred items in nightmare dungeons from 5 to 10%. So more rares to look at. Removed a 20% chance to drop an extra equipment item. What's an equipment item? I'm not sure what they're referring to there. I guess armor? Weapons? Nah, I don't either, Jeb. I think the character balancing, they're like Sork probably needed some changes. I feel like Sork probably needed some bumps. I feel like all the other classes were in a good state, and then Sork's just needed a little more of a bump. Everything like they have a lot of balance changes there that are like really minor. Like outside, I think the Necro probably got slapped around the most because I feel like those bones, those two nerfs are aimed at Bone Spear, so that's going to fall off a little bit, and I don't know how much the buffs to the blood skills will make Blood Lance and that build more viable. It's all, I think it's supposed to be already a good build, but all right, increased chance to drop an extra item. I don't know what they mean, extra equipment item. What's equipment item? Are they just talking like armor and weapons? I don't know what else that could be. I don't think it's mats, dude. I don't know. That's just weird. Increased chance to drop an extra equipment item. Nightmare Dungeons now 50% chance to drop a second legendary to completion. Okay. Nightmare Dungeons now give 3 rare items upon completion. Okay, so basically you can get 4, potentially 5 items at the quest completion versus 2, potentially 3. So you can get up to 5 at the end of the Nightmare Dungeon. I still don't think that's the issue. Alright, so group the monsters are getting a little stronger in parties. For every extra player, it went from 85% more scaling, hit point scaling, to 100%. So basically their health doubles based off the original amount per player in the party. So in a four player group, it increases by 300% versus 85, 70, 170, 255 to 300. It's a little bit more. World bosses drop more potions. Awesome. Never use them. No limit how many materials you can refine. Okay. Many affixes are too efficient and are outshining alternatives. We're looking to refine the outliers and improve the number of meaningful choices on competitive slots and increase the overall flexibility of items. Okay, what's that going to mean? Increasing the availability of the affixes? This is not a good thing. I don't know. It depends on what these affixes are. Control impaired duration reduction. So now pants could potentially have, it's added another affix to the pool. So water to pull down a little bit. I don't know that, do people look for that one? Control impaired duration reduction. I don't think that's a sought after affix. So that's not necessarily a good change. Barrier generation can now appear for all classes. Okay, whatever. Lucky hit chance while you have a barrier can now appear for all classes. Don't look for that one either. Mastery skill damage, newly added, can appear on Sork weapons. Resistance to all elements can appear on shields. Okay, that's kind of whatever. The core stat bonus on weapons has been overperforming, so we'll be pulling back the bonus. Okay, so this is one, if I see this on a weapon, I would use it. Oh wait, core stat, not core. I was thinking core skill damage. This is just core stat like strength, dex. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't remember where these fall in the tier. I don't go out of my way to get strength on my weapon. If it's on there, I potentially keep it depending on the other stats. So they're reducing the effectiveness of that. So, yeah, it might come into play in circumstances. Yeah, Tim, it's not. Like I said, I'm gonna do my 3 weeks and get all the things hopefully in 3 weeks. Then I'm probably gonna like do a little D2 until the D2 season drops. Unless we find some other cool game to play. This ain't it. These I don't know about this one. All right. Cooldown reduction affixes often feel mandatory. Yes, they are. But the penalty for not prior to, okay. Does this mean, I don't get what this means. Does this mean it's 30% chance of seeing it? Or it, okay, so I think they're changing the effectiveness of this. Like cooldown reduction, it's going to be, the effects of it's going to be 30% less. In Navani, it's kind of going to be that. Like the new items that are going to be in the game, the jewels or gems, the malignant gems, I'm going to try and collect all 35 in 3 weeks. That's my challenge. So it is kind of like the Sunder challenge. Imbuement skill cooldown reduction. Okay, so they trap. So they've nerfed cooldown reduction a bit. It's not going to roll as high. Like it's going to be reduced by 30%. Grim Dawn. I don't know what that one is. I'll have to check it out. if you're around, remind me when we get into that 3-week point at on D4, because I feel like we're gonna have 2 to 4 weeks of time between that point and when D2's season launch is. So I might need something to fill that out. Okay, we're seeing crit strike damage and vulnerable damage often viewed as a hard requirement for build success. It is. We believe this is a step towards allowing more builds to flourish and will continue to make changes to support this goal. How is reducing crit strike damage and vulnerable damage make other builds better? What? Okay. That's what it's looking like, OD. This is bad. Yeah, this doesn't make the other builds better. It just makes the better builds feel less. It just makes the better builds mediocre. So here, in a nutshell, let's take all the affixes that everybody uses because they're good and make them worse. Let's not take the affixes that people don't use because they're kind of meh and make them better. Let's make the ones that everybody uses worse. This is so backwards. So far they've nerfed cooldown reduction affixes. Now they've nerfed crit strike and vulnerable damage by a lot. Look at this, reduced by 40%. so far we've nerfed cooldown, we've nerfed crit and vulnerable. What else are we nerfing? Disparities in inherent affixes can rule some weapons out before the rest of their stats are even rolled. These are receiving harsher reductions than the normal affix counterparts to increase weapon flexibility. Cooldown reduction inherent on offense reduced by... it's more nerfs. Oh, this is the one that's smacking Bone Spear. They've reduced crit strike damage. It nerfs everything, but nerfing crit strike damage inherent on swords reduced by 50%. Holy crap! So the thing with bone, like the Necromancer Bone Spear build was using a two-handed sword because of this crit strike damage. So they're cutting it in half. Like right now, I have a Necro that's like 55, and he currently has a two-handed sword with inherent, like base crit strike at 18%. Based off of this change, it's now 9%. Wow. Bye bye Bone Spear. What? That's that just hurts. That's kind of dumb. Damage bonus to crowd control enemies was overperforming. Yeah, I guess so, OD. I mean, I don't know. We might see a nerf to lucky strikes farther down, or lucky hits. So if you crowd control or frozen enemies, the damage frozen is increased by 20, but crowd controlled is decreased by 30. This whole section should have been called "We're nerfing affixes," right here. Item affix nerfs. That should have been right here. That should have been the next word. Item affix nerfs. Alright, so cooldown, crit strike, vulnerable, nerf. Crit on swords, nerf. CR on offhands, nerf. Vulnerable damage on crossbows, nerf. That's a lot. I don't play rogue, but if you were rocking crossbows for the vulnerable damage, reduced by 65%. Whew, God. Developers know. Alright, next section. We have seen that skillful players are frequently slaughtering monsters many levels above their own. We want to support this, but the current situation is beyond what we believe is correct for the long-term health of the game. Yeah, Eric, a bunch. To chase this goal, we're shifting power to many offensive affixes from defensive affixes. We know this will make our endgame content more deadly for those chasing our Pinnacle boss. An encounter not meant for the faint of heart. Overcoming Pinnacle boss will take every ounce of grit you can muster and all tools at your disposal. We continue to evaluate feedback. How many of you are willing to bet that the developers, none of the developers have beat Lilith, Uber Lilith? No, Eric, they didn't fix it. How many of the developers able to beat Uber Lilith? Some of them do, but at a casual level, I feel. I guarantee you they ain't beat Uber Lilith. So, let's read the next list of nerfs. So you get, basically what they're doing is they're turning you into a glass cannon. So you'll get more damage, but your defenses are shot. So like all these are bumps in damage. But let's see at the changes to defensive skills. Yeah, so here you go. Werebear, total armor reduced by 25%. Total armor while in werewolf form reduced by 25%. Man, they're going after a druid, aren't they? Damage reduction from close enemies reduced by 20. So they're smacking DR right here. All the DR is shot. Well, not shot. It's hit pretty hard. 20 to 25% reductions. Wow. Yeah, OD. That's what it's looking like. Yeah, I don't think they inherently touched like how the buckets worked. They've just changed the values in the buckets. And they've added some. They've added like the helmet. Helmet got no pants got an additional affix chance. There's a couple of affix additions to pieces of gear. What up, Tomac? So I don't think this is going to be well received, folks. Got to be honest. That's a lot of nerfs. Eric, it's not, they did some minor buffing to certain skills. But then they took the nerf bat to the quite a few things here. Like I don't understand this portion where they're nerfing a lot of the affix that they thought people considered they needed to have. This doesn't make the other ones more wanted. Like just because you reduced how well cooldown reduction works, it doesn't make another stat better. You still want the cooldown reduction. You're just not going to get as much of it. That's the only outlier, OD. We don't know. They're probably going to data mine it. We'll probably get info on those gems later today. Because the patch is out, so... No, not yet, Tomac. The patch is out, so they're going to data mine probably the stats on those gems, and maybe that's what offsets all these nerfs. That's the only saving grace that could possibly happen. It's got to be. Because they nerfed the hell out of all these affixes. All the good affixes. Yeah, Eric, they didn't even mention it. Yeah, they're going to want to keep that secret, but it'll get data mined. Yeah, Jeb, the plan... Yeah, well, yeah, and you're on the right track. If you're going to nerf the really used affixes, you got to make the other ones better. And they didn't do that. They just nerfed the good ones. Make the other ones better, at least, if you're going to nerf the good ones. And I think they made some slight... I think there was a couple that... Maybe not. Where's the affix? Yeah, item affixes. So these can now appear on different pieces of gear than they used to. That's the only change. They didn't change the other lesser used ones to make them better. Yeah, Jeb. I mean, yeah, they nerfed the main stat affix, so those don't work as good. They nerfed cooldown. They nerfed crit strike. They nerfed vulnerable. They nerfed the inherent stats on a couple of the different weapons. Like crit strike nerfed there, cooldown nerfed there, vulnerable nerfed there. A couple of the crowd control ones, they nerfed this one, they increased frozen. But here they they increased these basic damage types. Like all these basic damage types they increased. But then they reduced all your defensive skills. So, but I don't know if these nerfs offset the affixes people normally use. Yeah, Jerry, I don't. If season 2, maybe. Yeah, OD, that they're gonna have to be to offset this stuff. I'm gonna play it for the first 3 weeks. I think I'll be done by 3 weeks. I think just have the season content finished up, and not even pushing hard. I think I could get this season content pretty much knocked out in 3 weeks. Yeah, Eric. You want difficult? Here's difficult. No damage for you. Oh man, 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 man. Yeah. I don't know what to say, boys. This don't. This is not as inspiring. It's funny though. They've made the Lilith fight potentially way harder, and none of them have beat it. I guarantee you none of them have beat it. I'm willing to bet a lot of them haven't even tried it. Man, that's a lot of nerfs. The fight is tough. I've tried it a few times. That fight is no joke. But I couldn't get it in me to respec to try and beat it. I just like, okay. Tough fight. If I was excited about the game, maybe I'd try it. But yeah, this is pretty bad. Well, yeah, Tyrone, that was what we were just saying. The only thing that could potentially offset it is the gems from the Malignant, but we don't know yet. We'll probably have the info on the Malignant gems, probably this afternoon. They're already data mining the patch. But I don't know, man. That's a lot of nerfs. Again, like the base damage stuff is increased by 25%. If anything, though, tell me if I'm wrong here. Just makes it feel like the fights get drawn out longer. Right. It's like your base overall DPS maybe goes up, but you don't get any spikes, or nowhere near as many spikes like from crit damage, vulnerable damage, because that's where you blow stuff up, right? You get some good crits or vulnerable hits in there. So it feels like it just stretches out the fights. Every fight takes a little longer because you're having way less chance of a good crit. Way less chance of vulnerable damage, or when you get vulnerable damage, it's 40% lower. So that just kind of feels like it stretches the fights out. You don't get any good damage spikes, which I don't agree with that philosophy. That's kind of the excitement of the fights, right? Is you see getting a good crit in there that turns the tide of the fight. Yeah, but is the alternative just to slow grind through it and just I don't see that as a good alternative. There is a case to be made that you'd want to see a good crit thrown in there. And now the good crit is not much better than just a regular hit. So I don't know. There's no way of knowing. I think early on you'll feel this physical damage bump, or like these base damage bumps. I think you'll feel these early. I think later in the grind though, it makes it way slower. You know what I'm saying? Like early on, these damage points are way noticeable. These are your early leveling. These damage points you'll see more. But then as you gear up, you're gearing for crit, you're gearing for vulnerable damage. But those stats are way less now. These damage points don't affect end-game grinding as much. Your overall physical damage, say for the barb, increased by 25%. That damage point you won't feel this as much end-game, because you're looking for those big hits to, like, you're poking at the boss, big hit, you take 25% health off. Now it's like poking at the boss, big hit, you take 10% of damage off. So it just stretches a lot of those fights out. I don't know that I would agree with that being a good remedy. Especially as big as these hits are to the damage. Like, this 50% reduction on the swords, that's a lot. The overall, this is going to affect the range, right? Like, the range on the crit damage roll is going to be reduced by 17%. This is a lot. 40% on vulnerable. And honestly, this stat's kind of tough to get. It's hard to get that vulnerable damage roll. Crit you see pretty decent bit, and they cut it down. Like this crit damage. So you see some of those rolls. I've seen some pretty high rolls go like 30 to 40% increases. So they're going to be down by like it'll look more like 30 to 35%. It's like huge. This is huge though. This is going to hurt barbarian damage a lot, because you don't necessarily, like Hammer of the Ancients, you're going to use a bludgeoning two-hander, but these crit strike damage modifiers are inherent on your other weapon slots, and so you use those other items as stat sticks. So I'm going to lose a ton of damage here, because I could potentially have 3 swords, my two-hand and the 2 one-handers. So that could potentially be 150% loss in crit strike damage. So this is going to hit a lot harder on barbs than not that one. Yeah, that one. That one's going to hit a lot harder on barbs just because of our... Yeah, Jerry. No, it's reducing the roll. So this is the effects on the affix. It's reducing the... No, not a ton. These are all nerfs. To me, this is a big one. Specific to the barbarian. Because you use the other weapons as stat sticks, so you stack crit on those other slots. So I rock two one-handed swords and a one-handed or two-handed sword. So they're just they want to reduce the pacing of the game. It almost feels like they want it to take longer. Which is that really? Are you making changes based off of that 1 to 5% of the player base that shoots through the content really quick? Do you really want the casual player to take even longer to get through the content? I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that or not. I guess we'll see. Like I said, I'm going to play it out of the gate. I think I'm going to go Barb. Looks like they smoked Bone Spear a decent bit. Bone Spear. I was thinking about playing Necro, but I think I'm going to just go back to the Barb. Yeah, there's a lot, and they threw more into the mix. So, well, not necessarily more. Like, they added some affixes to other gear. So now, like, what is it like? Yeah, like Pants gets an extra affix roll or extra affix that can roll. Barrier generation appear for all classes. I'm not sure about that one. All classes. That one's specific to Sorks. That one's specific to Shields. So this is the only one that would affect me. Yeah, they didn't add. Honestly, I would have taken out the lesser performing affixes and maybe threw some new ones into the mix. Yeah, the CC one's kind of annoying. I feel like this is going to make the gameplay slower. Agree, disagree? I think it's going to make it play slower. Maybe it levels out. And again, we don't know what the gem affixes. We don't know they say the gems are going to be overpowered. So maybe there's going to be some gems in there that just make all this forgettable. Here's the thing, though. These changes are going to they're going to stay unless they tweak them again. But the gems are only for the season. So at the end of the season, you roll into season 2, unless they buff some of these back or make changes to these, then you're at a point where you don't have an offsetting change like the gems. Like the gems will be gone after season 1, unless season 2 has something that does the same basic thing to offset some of the nerfs. You're going to actually have a weakened character and not something kind of offsetting that power change. Who knows? I mean, they're hard to. It's hard to guess what they're going to do. I mean, it's tough. I was expecting nerfs to some of the lesser, or not nerfs, but I was expecting buffs to some of the lesser used skills and stuff. I didn't think they were going to take the nerf hammer to some of these stats as hard as they did. Because I want to say there was only like maybe some one-offs where well, not really. Like, I saw a lot of people that are able to kill Uber Lilith with the Bone Spear, like, really quick. I saw some Hammer the Ancient kills that were pretty quick. There was some weird glitch with the Sork, but I don't think you count that one. Maybe Rogue? I don't know if I even remember seeing A druid Lilith kill. I'm sure they're out there, but I just didn't notice them. I don't know. I don't know. It's they made that fight way harder with the damage or with the defensive skill nerfs. Like those defensive changes right here. So nowhere near as much DR available. All these DR effects got hit. Armor reduced by 30. Armor's pretty strong, but you'll see that there's nothing about changing how intelligence resists work, or just resists in general. There's nothing here. But I think we assume that it's going to be like a season 2 type change, because I think they got to rework that whole strategy. So there it is. I don't know. Is it? Well, now it's a tougher slog because you don't have the DR for the fight, or you have reduced DR for the fight. I don't know. Yeah, basically some guys is what it is. I haven't watched any of those fights, Jeb. I don't know, man. But I mean, y'all can read the in-depth changes if you want. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna start. It starts at 1 o'clock on Monday, or not Monday. Jesus, Thursday, 1 p.m. EST is when season 1 goes live. So I'm not gonna slog it out and go like a 12-hour stream or something. I'm gonna play a decent bit, see how far I get. I mean, it looks like the leveling guides are pretty much going to stay in place based off of how the strongholds are going to work, that sort of thing. So there's not going to be any need for tweaks to the leveling guides. Yeah, Jerry, I've always that is almost a fundamental thing for Blizzard, it seems like, right? I mean, D2R at least did some PTRs, but they never put everything into the PTRs. But this just goes live 2 days. Yeah, Eric, it just goes live day after tomorrow. At least on D2, they let us test some of the changes they were making. Even though they always kind of screwed that up as well. But at least they let us test some of it. This is not going to be tested. Yeah, it did. That's what I'm saying. D3 had PTR. I'm pretty sure it did. I kind of remember them talking about PTR for that last season change they had. Not all of them. World of Warcraft never had a PTR. I don't remember. I don't think it did. Yeah, I don't. You think it's because they consider D4 open world that they're considering it like falling under like World of Warcraft type of testing? I don't know. It's a little weird. PTR is always helpful. Even if they did the same PTRs where it's at least the like beta 1 to 25. I don't know. A little weird. Hold on, let me change. Let me change this real quick. Hold on, I gotta look real quick to see who all in D4 is talking about it. Yeah, they're all in there talking about it right now. Alright, we're going to play D2. I can figure out how to change this. Edit, 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 edit. Where's the edit? Edit layout? Is that right? Nah. You don't feel like screwing with this. There it is. Edit. Alright, let's switch this to... Why won't you let me change it? There we go. We'll just save that. Alright, we're going into D2 now. Yeah, Tyrone, I think they were trying to get it in before the Microsoft deal. I think that's what it was. I'm probably going to play that. I think I'm going to get into PoE 2 when it drops. I think they have a better grasp of what's wanted in the ARPGs right now, just in general. I was kind of hoping the D4 team would, but they're kind of missing the mark. Their loot grind is just not it. I don't think they know what their players want. And I think PoE, just in general, did a better job of that. And their actual seasonal content was, I think their seasonal content was just more thought out. So, we'll see. That's true. Which is fine.
I can't carry anymore.
I mean, I don't have an issue with that. I mean, even like the guys here, like our chat, I, might only have time to play casually, but I think all the guys here don't approach any of the games casually. Like they're looking kind of for that more in-depth experience. So. PoE 2 might be it. Well, we might be looking at that at some point. For the meme builds. But I mean, even that, I mean, I don't think you could truly be a casual player and do meme builds. Oculus, gotta love it. Be able to do that in D4 now. the trigger's a little bit different, but you're still going to be you're still going to be teleporting around. Yeah, exactly, Eric. You kind of got to put some thought into a meme build and actually be able to kill stuff with it, right? I mean, we'll see how they get how the changes feel. Mm. Shut up, Tomac. Yeah, we had hopes, man. I guess we'll come up with a way for season. What are we gonna have? Season 5 for D2? So for season 5 D2, we got to come up with not necessarily a meme setup. I kind of like the idea of trying to level by only using set uniques, but I think that would just be a little hard. I think we're going to have a rough time with that one. Come on, guys. Get off me. Shoot me in the back while I'm trying to kill him. He takes so long because he's cold immune. Gotta let the Merc kill him.
I am overburdened.
I'm curious how the other streamers are gonna take these changes. 8 paladins. Eric, I like where your head is, man. Oh.
Good afternoon.
Because using the wheel for the meme builds was kind of fun. Maybe we could do that again. Yeah, I kind of like where your head is on that one, man. Should we allow duplicates? Like we can't get... I guess technically we could potentially have 8 different ones. I don't know. We'll have to, when we get closer. Remind me that when we get closer to the season start. We got to do something like that. Hey Tommy, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, I mean, I can almost tell you what Llama's gonna say. It's like, this ain't it. I gotta be honest though, I think there's going to be kind of a negative feedback from a lot of the major D4 influencers right now. Yeah, Tyrone probably. I gotta be honest, man. I think a lot of them are gonna not necessarily have. There's gonna be some fence sitters, right? There's gonna be some guys that are like, it's okay. It's not as bad as you think. Which I guess is fair, but I don't know, man. I think if you look at it being the nerf bat approach, to me, it's just never the what direction to take it. Tommy, Tomac has an old man fetish. It's kind of weird. It's been creeping me out here for the last 5 minutes. Oh, do you, Ezeki? We could do it, man. I think that'd be kind of fun. I mean, we'll all be kind of early gimped because we don't have a sort to farm with. but if nothing else, man, we could steam. I think 8 pallies will steamroll, regardless if we did random spins on the actual. God Almighty! If we did random spins on the auras, I think it would still steamroll no matter what. I wish I'd teleport more. You sure you want this, Ezeki? Even in D4?
I can't carry anymore.
I mean, I'm teleporting like every 2 seconds. I know it won't be the same on D4, but that's just annoying.
I can't carry anymore.
Yeah.
Salutations.
Yes?
Yeah, we'll have to think that out, though. Are we going to say you're only allowed, like, using the 1 aura, I would guess? I mean, that would make sense. Ooh, Ethereal Berserker? It is not. Yeah, right. We'll have to come up with a good one for that. We're a little ways out. We're at least a month out. I figure about a month stagger from the D4 season launch. So we're probably looking at like mid and I want to say maybe mid August for D2 season. 8 summoners. Wow. What'll happen is we'll get like one badly timed Diablo wave and kill all the summons, and then we're all just sitting there with golems. That's true too, man. Yeah, Tommy, it could be. It could be September. I think that'll make season 4 a little extra long though. I think at the 4-month mark we're about mid-August. You know what they should have done is, like D2 did a couple of times, was this big patch, actually push it live and let people play it for a couple of days with their fully kitted out characters and see what it feels like. Of course, then you would have to you'd have to do something with the gear that's currently existing. I don't know. I feel like you should test it. Just not grandfather the gear from, like, take the gear that's already out there and make the affix adjustments. And actually go live with it for a couple of days and test it. See what it feels like. And I don't know, have they said, do the gems go into the Eternal Realm after the season's over? Are they doing the same thing where your ladder or your season characters fall into your Eternal Realm characters? How's that going to work? Have they said? Because that's going to become a spacing issue on the character slots, because there's only 10. I mean, additional seasons, it's going to get kind of messy. Unless you start deleting 10 character slots. There's not that many.
I am overburdened.
What you talking about, Jerry? Call of Duty, the boys? What do you mean? Tommy humble bragging about his high runes. Amazon show. I don't know it. Seems like I've heard it. I don't know what that is though. Seems I've heard about it. It's crossed my peripheral, but I don't know anything about it. God, that's annoying. Christ. We gotta get us a Hodo. This is obnoxious. I can't sit in one spot for more than 2 seconds. Yeah, Tyrone, we definitely could use that. It's just I think we're past that stage in D2R where we're going to get any kind of good quality of life changes. I'm good, Jeb. I need to look to see what I have on my paladin. Yeah, Eric, they do. And let the modders take control of it. That'd be kind of fun. I would play the modded version. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I like a lot of the changes the modded community made pre D2R. I wouldn't have a problem playing that. I mean, some of the changes were kind of gimmicky, but I did like the map system with Project Diablo. I like the corruption system. There was some decent parts of decent mods that I actually enjoyed. 1 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what that's going to shake out in your time, Tyrone. A little earlier in the evening, I think. But I'll be on and playing at 1. We'll see how far we can get. Yeah, it's the 20th for D4. Wow, they killed him quick. What the heck? Oh, it's that dude. Jesus. No. I can't move. My God. You did that for D2, Azeki? That's pretty cool. Yeah, Jeb. Actually, I wouldn't mind either, man. I was kind of surprised when this one was going live on Thursday at 1. I thought it was going to be 8 p.m. like they normally do. Not a bad strategy, Tommy. By the time it gets to that point, maybe they'll make some good changes. Get my mark.
Afternoon.
I think these quill rats are still more dangerous than the ones in D4. I almost died that last fight.
I am overburdened.
Yeah, that's true, Jeb.
I can't carry anymore.
I say bring back bugged firewall. Let's do it. Tommy, I was too, man. That first day of launch for D3 was the most frustrating game launch I think I've ever involved myself in.
I can't carry anymore.
Oh, almost dead again. Quill rats, man. No joke. I'm gonna have to kill these. Jesus. We can't stay near them. Look at my merch dead. I'm almost dead again.
I am overburdened.
Hello.
Yes?
I got about 6 months out of it, Tommy. I didn't go a year. I was kind of done with it at 6 months. I think I came back for the X-Back and played it for a little while, but I don't even think I stayed in that for very long. Yeah, Jeff, but none of mine were very long.
Good afternoon.
I don't know, man. They just didn't hold value for me for very long. I don't even know what hit me there.
I can't carry anymore.
No matter where I'm at, I'm getting hit and teleported.
I can't carry anymore.
Buddy of mine played Ultima. I never played it.
Salutations.
I don't remember what I was messing around with time of Ultima was out. Yeah, I can see that being stressful. Losing all your stuff's just never a fun event. It adds way too much.
I am overburdened. I can't carry anymore.
Alright, we're gonna run Chaos. Not having fun running that. About to level. Wow. He got jacked quick. Why y'all gotta do that?
I am overburdened.
Damn, 14 years. Jesus, dude.
Hail to you, champion.
Yeah, I just don't know enough about that game. I mean, like I said, I know my buddy played it, but I don't know that much about it. I mean, it was like, I think we had this conversation. Which came first, that one or EverQuest? It came first, right? EverQuest came after Ultima. Ultima's kind of like one of the first mainstream MMOs. First concept of an MMO. And then I think EverQuest hit it, and then World of Warcraft just blew the whole thing apart.
I can't carry anymore. I am overburdened.
The guys I'm making a game with, we were kicking around ideas for like maybe an MMO after this game we're working on, and we're kicking around the concept, and I don't know how doable it is or even how receptive people would be to it. We actually were thinking about doing almost like a historically based MMO around World War II, or maybe you start as like a private and somehow work your way up through the ranks. I don't know how that would play out, but the world would be literally the globe based around World War II. I thought it was a cool idea. I just don't know how feasible and how you can make that. Because these guys are like big history buffs, and I kind of am too. Because they like to play in like the old like Medal of Honor, those kind of games. That was kind of their thing. And I think the concept is pretty ingenious. I don't know how receptive people would be to something like that though. Most times the MMOs, it's got to be like fantasy based. I don't think people would be open to like a more realism styled MMO. Might grab that if that's a Hodo base.
I am overburdened.
Ooh, nice 7. Let's go ahead and stick that in the pile somewhere. Should we get rid of the life one? Let's get rid of this little lightning resist one. Don't need that. Yeah, Eric, that's what I'm saying. I don't think, you know, I think the concept's kind of cool. I just don't know how realistic it is as a game, like a flourishing game. Like, it would be kind of not gimmicky, but I think your audience would be too specific.
I can't carry anymore.
I mean, it's one of them things like just because you're a history buff, it don't mean there's going to be a lot of people that want to play a historically based MMO. It would just, I don't think the market would be there for that. I'd probably play it just because it would be cool to me, but as like an overall market, I don't think it's there for something like that.
I am overburdened.
I'd be one of the few people it was geared towards, but I think it'd be stretching it to try and get a solid player base. There'd be a decent amount, but nothing of like broad appeal, which is unfortunate. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, which I don't know, because there are like a lot of like there's the world is.
I can't carry anymore.
World of ships and like the world of tanks or something like that are like pretty popular games, but trying to roll that kind of a concept of a game into an MMO just I don't think is feasible.
I can't carry anymore.
Oops, going the wrong way. It's not recoverable at all, Fuzzy. Like drive is like
I can't
dead
carry
dead.
anymore.
Should probably roll some gems.
am overburdened.
Ethereal? Nope. Yeah, Tommy, I hear you, man.
Greetings.
Tommy, it's funny you say that, because like when I was doing research for my loot system and I was doing searches for different kind of gun types, it was funny how many times loadout for Warzone or Call of Duty or something came up instead of actually something about the real gun. That happened a lot. I forgot we were crafting this season. I should probably throw a couple amulets together.
I can't carry anymore.
Thanks.
Merc getting wrecked again. Ron Shane, nope. Yeah, I always tell my wife to like externally,
I can't carry
like
anymore.
pictures and that kind of stuff. You know, stuff that she doesn't want to lose. Try and get her to store stuff externally. I mean, technically, those things can get kind of corrupted as well, but I think it's more in how you store stuff.
I can't carry anymore. I am overburdened. I I am overburdened.
I miss playing Overwatch, but I just can't get myself to play that abomination it's turned into. God, I used to love playing that game. Maybe I should check it out, just see if it's changed any.
I can't carry anymore.
Oh, 11% poison. Kind of cool. Looks like Small Charm is going to be where it's at today. Did I see where Llama's working on a game? Seems like I saw one of his videos. He was plugging like a game of some sort at the end. I couldn't tell if that was he was just memeing or if that was a real thing. Dude, Eric, man, yeah, people went crazy because I mean that was the whole point of Overwatch 2 was the PvE stuff. There was no other reason to change it. So basically, think about what people lost. They took out all the levels and stuff. There was some stuff that didn't carry forward, right? From Overwatch 1 to 2. I feel like there was some things that didn't carry forward. And then they changed the comps from 6 to 5 mans. And then they did some changes to the skills, which were whatever. Graphically, it looked okay. It did look better. But it was all, and there was something you prepaid to purchase Overwatch 2 for the PvE content. So I'm assuming they had to refund those people, right? Or it was a Battle Pass thing. There was something that you actually shelled out money for in advance for the PvE stuff. Yeah, it was a bad state of affairs. Oh, really, Fuzzy? Dude, XCOM was... I loved XCOM series. That was such a fun game. Or fun series. I played up to XCOM 3. I think they went at least 5 after that, or 2 more after that. I think they went up to like an XCOM 5, maybe. I love that game series. Yeah, Fuzzy, that stuff went through. Maybe Bobby Kotick will finally retire. Eric, I don't know how that all shook out because I know at least in Great Britain they denied the merger. But, I mean, I don't know how that works. I'm assuming if they went ahead with it with, the, like, say, for instance, Great Britain banning it, I would assume then the products, whatever products associated with Activision, it couldn't be both. Like maybe the products associated with Activision couldn't be sold in Great Britain or something. I don't know how that plays out internationally.
I am overburdened.
There's probably going to be some behind the scenes to make it work. The acquisition was approved here. Yeah, Fuzzy. I actually picked it up on Steam a couple years ago. Like, you could get the entire series. My dad was the one that actually found it and told me about it because we played the XCOM series at the same time. He loved that series as well. And he had told me, because he likes to go back and look for those older games. And he found the XCOM series on Steam and told me about it. And we picked up the whole, I want to say you pick up the whole series for like $15 or something. Might not even been that much. And we immediately scooped that up. I went back and booted up whichever one. One of them was I liked more than the others. And I played that for a while. And it was fun. I put a decent amount of time back into it. Some of them old turn-based games, man, not even for the nostalgia factor, they were just fun. Hell, I still boot up like Civ 3. Civ 3 was like my favorite one, and I still boot that one up every once in a while. Total War Shogun, that's an older one. I've still got that one. There's some of those games, man. They still stand the test. They're still decent. Let's use that for crafting. It could, man, because you know it's got a time limit, but you could play past the time limit. I always ended up doing that.
I am overburdened.
Oops. Masters of Orion. I was just trying to think of that as Zeki. Man, it's still Masters of Orion. Is it 2? It might have been 2. That's the better one. It's literally still loaded on my computer. Masters of Orion was so good. It's kind of funny too, because my brother-in-law, we would hot seat the old Civ games. We hot seated like the original, like Civ 1, the very first one. Played that for hours. Yeah, Master of Orion's one of my all-time favorites as well. I still will boot that up every once in a while and play it. Yeah, that's kind of funny you say that. I was the only one out of my friend group that liked that game, which was I thought was just crazy. I didn't know that, Fuzzy. I didn't know they actually spun off a console version. Man, now I'm going to have to play some Masters of Orion tonight. Those games would last for a while. And it's kind of funny because I would reset the game a lot if I got like a bad planetary arrangement. I would reset it, start another game. Eric, they're real, man. They're all like turn-based strategy games. You have to know about Civ, though.
I can't carry anymore.
Not necessarily nails in the coffin, but it definitely was not a good set of patch notes. Not the greatest. Am I going to finally get my Tau amulet? No. Some Frosties. Don't tell her that, Jeb. She'll say they were good then.
Not even death can save you from me.
Eric, you've never heard of Civ? Come on, man. Dude, the Civ series is still coming out with new games now. Eric, do you get into like turn-based type games though? Like strategy games? Civ is a strategy game. Basically, you start with a warrior unit and a settler unit, literally, and you have a full world, and you create a city and you build a civilization based off of starting with that. And then there's normally I think there's online you could play against other people. Most people just play against the computer because it could get long and drawn out, and just playing that online could probably become kind of tedious.
I can't carry
Especially
anymore.
turn-based, waiting for other people to do their turns. So most people play against a computer. But, I mean, there's so many facets to creating your civilization. Civilization has been, like, probably one of the all-time played series of games. And Sid Meier's was the original game designer for that. And he was one of the prominent people in gaming in general. Sid Meier's was just like the most sought after game designer back in the day. In fact, he dropped the Civ series, I want to say after 3, he sold it or gave it up or something, I don't remember. And they asked him to come back, I think to do 6 or 5. Because the game just wasn't the same without him being like part of the game design team. I guess I don't really need gems or jewels. Yeah, Jeb, they're so long, dude. But they're, I could see them going that long because it's such a fun game, man. Again, I still play it. I think I have Civ 6 loaded up right now, which, again, it's not my favorite of the series, but it's a decent one. Yes, Fuzzy, I played the hell out of that one. My dad liked Railroad Tycoon. And I played those. There was a series for the Railroad Tycoons that were pretty good. My dad loved those. And then, yeah, but my wife and I played Roller Coaster Tycoon a lot. That was a fun one. It does, Jeb. Civ, to me, is a great... Just, I don't want to, like, bog myself down in, like, anything too, like... I'll like listen to podcasts and stuff and play Civ, and then just one of them things where, you know, no matter where you are, you could just turn it off and just boot it up like 2 months later, and you're starting at that point. Dennis, what's up, buddy? What's going on with you? I need to... What level am I? 92 is the min level to gamble the best amulet, or the potential amulets to roll everything. I'm gonna do it anyways. Yeah, but Yeah, the little people get off the roller coaster and throw up on the sidewalks and stuff. That was funny. Oh shoot, I don't have room. Is it 93? I mean, I could gamble them at 901, and then it's fairly low chance of it not getting the fully mod, the one that can get all the mods. I hear you, Eric. That's cool, man. Better late than never. Definitely worth looking back at some of those, because you could get them on Steam like really cheap, and at least check some of them out. I would definitely look at the Civ series, just as like, because Civ is one of those games, especially if you got stuff going on in the house, you could play it and you could like walk off while the computer's playing its turn, or the computers, and come back and play your turn, because it's turn based. Dennis, I feel like Bone Necro got hurt a pretty good bit. I don't know ruined is the right word, but Bone Necro got smacked around. No, thing. I don't think it's worth it, dude, for her to get in. It's I don't know, that some of the changes were kind of head scratching. Put it that way. We'll do a little gambling here. Yeah, that's true, Fuzzy. If I'm assuming that site's still around. I mean, I like using Steam whenever I can, just because I have my library there that I can pull games in and out. That's kind of always why I just kind of try and keep everything consolidated on Steam. What am I looking at? Amethyst. Garbage. Morale. Almost. On Epic? Uh-uh. Nah, I hear you, Tommy. I don't think I'm going to mess with blood gloves. We're probably just going to cube off the rest of these gems. It's unfortunate. Nah, Dennis. No, the season's available for everybody. Dennis, there was a lot of nerfs just in general, so I don't know, man. They nerfed a lot of stuff. Last one. 2 summoner. Don't care. Alright. Let's craft. These are all craftable. I can still throw these in a cube. Let's. A couple more things. We'll throw that in there. Alright, let's go through these gems. I'm not going to do any more blood items. See, do we still have the Skiller touch? Not so far. 200 page manuals. Diablo 2 had a big book. Or was that a that might have been like a player guide sold separately, wasn't it? I can't remember if there was a good big book that came with the game itself. I think I still have that book somewhere in this desk. .43 live. All right, 2 more rolls. Oh, really, Eric? That's actually kind of funny. Yeah, that is true, Fuzzy. It did. That I will say that stack Sork probably came out the best out of all the classes, but there's a lot of just overall nerfs that are kind of like type of thing. Like, if I don't know if y'all noticed, they nerfed like overall vulnerable damage affixes, crit damage affixes, cooldown affixes, and there was some other nerfs that I saw that like specifically. I think there was a couple under the Necro itself that looked like they were aimed at nerfing Bone Spear a little bit, but that looked like they buffed like some of the blood skills, like maybe Blood Lance is going to be even a little stronger. There's a couple things like that. I didn't see any specific nerfs to the Sork. Yeah, I did see. Yeah, well, I mean, Stacks. To be perfectly honest, dude, I think the Sork out of the 5 was probably the weakest class, and it's still kind of busted because they didn't address the intelligence resistance issues. And you get an Oculus to randomly teleport you now. Zeki wants that. He just wants to play the random teleporting. Of course, let's be honest, it's probably not going to get you killed like it potentially gets you killed in a D2. It seemed like I heard something about Starfield.
I can't carry anymore.
Is that something that looks interesting, Fuzzy? Stacks, it was just about getting me killed just today. I was doing Frigid Highland Tear Zone, which includes, you know, Blood Foothills now. And dude, those little quill rats were bouncing me all over the map. I had to emergency pot a couple of times today because of the Oculus. Wow, they ate my merc alive. What the hell?
I can't carry anymore.
Stacks in his maggot lair. Oh my god, dude. Come on, man. Maggot lair ain't it.
Not even death can save you from me.
Why are you turning on me like that, dude? They kill my merc? No. Yeah, I hear you. Oh man. Oh. Frozen. I mean, we'll kick it up on Thursday and just see how it feels. Like I said, I think early on the bumps to just the basic damage is gonna feel. I think early on you'll probably level a little quicker, but I think the affix changes is gonna be where you start to slow down, like probably like 60 up. I think you're gonna start to feel the effects of the affix changes. But I think just the base, like the physical plus physical damage buff, cold, fire, all that stuff, all those buffs will play out early. Well, at least with the power supply, that's usually an easy fix. And it gives you the opportunity to maybe beef up your power supply if you got to replace it. So there's a positive side to your power supply crapping out. And usually they're not too pricey. I think you could get a decent power supply fairly cheap. Anything else that's a whole nother world of headaches. But power supply, not too bad. Not too bad. Could be way worse. I mean, I think what I had to send out today to get repaired probably is costing them way more. So I wear hearing aids, and I have like a cheapy pair that I wear when I have issues with like my main set. So I had to get my main set sent out to be repaired today. Just repair cost was $1,000 today. Just sent them out to get repaired.
I can't carry anymore.
Little pricey. Oh yeah, dude. They're expensive. No, they're not, dude. Mine cost... I bought mine main set 5 years ago. They're 5 years old. They were $4,000 a piece. Yeah, I would have imagined 10,000 is probably the price tag now. Like I said, mine are like 5 years old. It's crazy how expensive those are. And it's crazy how easy it is to lose them. I've been fortunate. I haven't lost any. I have dropped them before, and it took me forever to find them on the floor. I mean, they're small. Mine are like fully in the ear, so they're, you know, there's the kind that have the external, and I never liked those. So like the fully in the ear kind, it's those are a little more pricey just because of that, because they're so much smaller, so it's just the material cost. Oh man, I forgot to kill those. Dang it. Now I didn't get my seal pop.
Not even death can save you from me.
Man Sky. I don't recognize that one. Tommy. You could probably get a really nice pair from the VA, dude. Now, dealing with the VA is a whole different ballgame, but I mean, if you feel like you have any kind of healing loss whatsoever, I'd do it. You'd probably get like a really top end pair from them. Man Sky. Why does that sound familiar? That come out about 3 years ago. It was like a sandbox space game where you mined resources. There was like bandits you could fight, that sort of thing, but it was like an open world space game. Hey, what's up, Joe? What's going on, buddy? And I fully blame my dad for my hearing loss. I might have told this story before, but we used to go out to the firing ranges out on Fort Bragg. And shut up, Cherry. We're talking about hearing loss. Yeah, Dennis. Sorry, man. So, we went out. I think I told this story. We went out to Fort Bragg one day, just drive around, because shooting ranges, you used to be able. Fort Bragg used to be open base. It's all gated now after 9/11, but pre 9/11, it was open base. Anybody could drive out there. And we happened to roll up on a tank range, and the National Guard was practicing. And they were using the old M60 tanks at the time. The Army had the M1s. But the National Guard lagged behind, so they had M60s. And so we rolled up just to watch them fire. I mean, I literally probably sat 20 yards behind the tank. One of the tanks. You could get that close. And they weren't firing at the time. They were just kind of hanging out. So we didn't think they were about to shoot. And the tank in front of us fired. Fortunately, I was directly behind it. And practice rounds don't use as much, I guess, gunpowder. They don't. It's not a full round compared to a live fire round, and that thing fired. And I don't know how any of you former military guys have ever been around a tank while it was firing. The ground shakes. You know, I didn't get the full effect of the blast because it was forward. I was behind it. But it's still, you could feel it. And I was like 9 or 10, maybe. And it knocked me off of my seat. And I had no hearing protection in. So, yeah, as you can imagine, that kind of thing, and like a couple of you guys were saying, going to old rock shows, my hearing has taken a beating. I don't even think the rock concerts these days are anywhere near as loud as they used to be. I went to AC/DC in like '88, and what's the song they shoot the fire? They like have the cannon shots. It's like what's the name of that song? For Those About to Rock? Is that it? No, it wasn't Thunderstruck. No, they didn't do it in Thunderstruck. It was because it was like, for those about to rock, boom, we salute you. That's the line. I don't remember. I don't know if that's the name of the song itself. Maybe it was Highway to Hell. I gotta look this up now. That's the name of this album. Okay, that's the name of the album. No, that is the name of the song. That it's For Those About to Rock. Came out in '81. But the way that song went, yeah, and it was yeah, Fuzzy Nose, and it would, dude, and that cannon shot would be so loud. Oh my God! And I don't even know how many times they did it during that song. Those kind of concerts, man, I think that's next level loud compared to what they do these days. And like, I went to see like Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue. That concert was obnoxiously loud. I'm sure that didn't help my hearing out. Those are those concerts you walked out and you just kind of had that ringing in your ears for like the next few hours. Construction, yeah, I bet, Joe. Yeah, Eric, that was probably pretty loud. Yeah, Tommy, yeah, exactly, Tommy, you know. It's at live, that's a loud song, dude. That's so loud. Because, I mean, I've been to a ton of concerts over the years. And I feel like, especially like the rock concerts, like in the recent years, I mean, they toned it back a little bit. I mean, those old hair band concerts, those old rock band concerts back in the day, they didn't give a damn. They turned it all the way up. You think it's the same, DB? I don't know, man. The mixes are definitely better because, I mean, the sound quality of those concerts back then were not great. They were not great. It could be Stacks. Somebody look that up. Verify. Because I will fully admit the sound quality back in the day, not that good.
I am overburdened.
I mean, you went there more for the experience than the quality of the music. Now, like most of the shows, the quality of music's usually, yeah, they mix it way better. The equipment's better, and they just sound better. What? What'd I miss? Who'd I miss? Did I miss one over here? Maybe I didn't hit. Yeah, I didn't hit this one. We can still pop it. There we go. I missed them shows, though. I hadn't been to one since pre-COVID.
Not even death can save you from me.
Bob's still here. Bob, did you read the patch notes?
I can't carry anymore. The only thing decent I've gotten today is small charms. Maybe we'll get another good one. Nope.
give me some loots. I need my adrenaline rush. Oh wait, what was cathedral? Oh wait, that's running Andy. Is that Andy runs? It is, isn't it? Yeah, I could have been doing Andy runs. Okay. Ethereal? Two berserker axes. A blue one too. Alright. Is it ethereal? Nope. Oh well. Kind of a cool drop. I think that actually goes on my grail too. I don't think I've gotten that live. If the grail works. Didn't work yesterday. Alright, we got a Death Cleaver. I think it's 250 ED max. I'll have to double check. It's not a bad roll. It's just not ethereal. Let's see if my... Let's see, yeah, max roll. Ah, it's still not working. Did max roll take away my grail? Max roll, Diablo 2, resources, grail. Okay, it's there. I don't know why my bookmark wasn't working. Alright, so Death Cleaver. No, I have found it. Son of a bitch. What was the one I got yesterday? Flesh Ripper. Okay, that one I definitely hadn't checked off. Okay, there we go. 280. Okay. Well, I didn't want one unless it was ethereal anyways. I thought for sure that was like not checked off on my grail, but apparently I have gotten it before. Oh well, kind of cool to see drop. Don't see it very often. First run at Andy, and we're gonna lose it in about 12 minutes. Oh, is this one gonna loop around? Towel? Please? Dang it. Yeah, I know, Eric. But, I mean, no, Death Cleaver, actually, if you get an ethereal one, I think they might use it in PvP, like melee attack PvP, or melee build PvP. I think Death Cleaver comes into play there. It's not, like, absolutely useless, for sure. Because, you know, a lot of those tournaments that they set up won't allow for grief anyways. So I think it kind of shines there.
overburdened.
I'm more sad that I had already found it before. It'd been cool to scratch 2 TC-87 items off my Grail list.
Thanks.
Since it's Terror Zone, might as well kill all these bosses.
I am overburdened.
Oh, man. Let's see how this next Terror Zone plays out. If it sucks, I'm probably going to log.
I am overburdened.
What are you talking about, Dennis? Dennis, I feel like you're steaming a bit about the nerfs. I was earlier.
Good day.
Oh, it's right in the middle. Hate when they do that. I mean, to be honest, it wasn't just Necros, man. They kind of nerfed a lot of things across the board. I think the only one that was unscathed was probably Sorks. I think Sorks did okay. Honestly, I think the Bone Necro probably got hit the hardest. I don't remember what the gold roll was for perfect. Man, it don't matter. Stop getting behind the thing. Did we get it this time? No, same one.
I can't carry anymore.
No, I thought there might be a ethereal. Got some lacerators. Getting a lot more drops here for sure. Again, early leveling, you'll probably be, you might be able to level a little quicker. It's just when you get to the grindy part, it's going to be slower, I think. But I mean, maybe that's a little presumptuous. Maybe it won't be as bad. But I just, the numbers are big enough to where I think like the end game Nightmare Dungeon builds are gonna feel less strong for sure. No way to know for sure because, you know, we don't get to test this stuff before live. Might be able to get one more run in before it switches. Yes, fast one. Come on, there we go. Last run. Hey, last run. I'm assuming, yeah. Sunder. What we got? anti-perfect fire. Of course it is. Actually, the drops were way better running Andy that time, Terror Zone. Like, I wasn't getting anything in the running Chaos that time, but here, actually, the drops were pretty decent. I mean, nothing spectacular, but, I mean, we pulled a TC-87 out of the first run. At least some stuff to identify, a couple set amulets, that stuff. Alright, I'm gonna log here. I got kind of a work session on the game tonight. I probably won't be on tomorrow. I'll probably be doing some more work on that. Thursday, 1 p.m. I'll be live for the season start. I'm just gonna see how I'm not gonna like do like hard 12-hour pushes to see, you know, to get to end game immediately. I don't know. We're just going to try and do the challenge. I'm going to try and do the 35 malignant gems. I'm going to try and get all 35 in 3 weeks. I'm going to roll Barbarian. I feel like Necro got smacked a little too hard. I was kind of on the fence running one or the other. I'm definitely going Barbarian now. Bone Spear, I think, might have taken a pretty big hit. If you're playing Necro, you probably go Blood Lance now. Like, a lot of the blood skills got buffed. But a lot of the stuff that would work with Bone Spear seems to took a pretty decent hit. So, I don't know if Bone Spear is going to be it. So, Necro, I mean, the blood builds might be fun. But I'm just going to go straight out of the gate with Hoda and see how fast I can push the Barb leveling-wise. We'll see how it works out. I'm going to jump. I will catch you guys on Thursday, 1 p.m. Peace.